Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Earl from Earl Widmeyer. Welcome to the layout tour part number 2. Let's get right into it.
So when we look at these, we're still kind of trying to figure out, Adam and I, as to, deciding whether this is, I guess this would be the east side of the beginning of our layout, and the other side would be the west side. So, basically how we started out, when we look back here, the track line where the cabooses are, that could be a fictional transfer line kind of running through and bringing in off freight, or we could have it as a stub end, and then we kind of went across the other side and did the same thing. I was thinking I could do bushes and trees and make that look like it disappears again, so that's just like a straight run through kind of thing. Right in the corner, basically, this one starts off as where the old railroad started with its initial first engine house, right along with the coal yard, right up in the old days kind of stuff. Still modernized, but that's what we have right there. And then coming around from that corner, just another new building that was built over to do some transfer loads. And then the transfer down from the old engine yard into the main line. So we kind of figured that, this main line, this is the main line, that technically that could be the main line, goes off and disappears. So the cabooses are just sitting there. I'm not too sure what we're going to do with that. But the coal transfer yard, let's start looking back at that. It was a 4-line, or it's a 3-line transfer, and then storage lines on the outside of it. So once they got filled up, you had a 2-track storage here with an extra on the outside. And don't ask me about those guys. I won't talk about them. These guys right here. If anybody knows what they are, they should recognize them, but I'm not going to talk about them. They're atoms. And and then there's one more coal storage line. Let me back this out. I'm thinking, okay. One more coal storage line on the outside right here, so we could put another 5 cars. That's basically it for this coal. Once they got all ready, they can be brought out and put into the classification yard and or set out onto the main lines to be pulled up and taken off the track. We basically have 3 classification lines. That one, we got 1, 2, and 3. The 4th one is a classification that we could prep for, but generally we bring lines 1, 2, and 3 out onto line 4, and then they may take it out onto line 5 to add, to double up on it before it goes out. Coming back over here, after the first building, we have another transfer building. It was, everybody recognizes this building. What you want to call it, that's what it is, right? Off of the main, we had the main ladder yard, which goes in and out. That was the biggest thing, having a ladder yard going in and out at the same time, right? So then when we came down, we had another small transfer. Sorry, I tripped on something. Another small transfer building, like a furniture building company or something like that. And then, your regular general store, kind of thing to pick up, feed mill and stuff like that, and general wood products and stuff like that. So, and had a little siding off of the side of him, and I figured I might as well do that. One thing we never did do is consider roadways. Yeah, who does that? It's all train. We all make those mistakes, and that's what it's going to stay. Coming down the middle, our classification yard, and then a run around for the new modern shop. Basically, just a small shop, just to run a couple engines and do any minor repairs, that kind of stuff. The very outside track right here, that's basically the main inside run around for all the classification and shunting, that kind of stuff, bringing stuff up from the coal yard, and or just breaking anything out along over here. And you see there's 1308, anybody noticed? it automatically shuts down after a little while, but then he'll start back up on his own again. Once he's been turned on, he has an automatic responses. Then coming down to this end, so there was basically the ladder yard, and then the pass through that other engines and cars would normally use. You wouldn't use this unless you're coming in here to do work. If you're trying to just pass around, then you're just coming out over here. So, and then the last thing that would come along at this point in time is the main engine yard. And that's where we put everything right here for the main engine. You can hear something beeping, so it's an automatic response. This was the main hub of the engine yard, and this is where a lot of engines just sit and wait, ready to be going out. After the engine yard and coming around the back corner, that's where it would split away. When we had the double crossover, you could choose to either start running up and coming up the incline, which comes up over the back here, and run around and go up, or you can choose to stay in with a curved yard with a curved switch there, and stay down into the switching yard and move around and down in below. Kind of gives you a little bit of double workload, because you can come around off of this second switch and go back into the main line that comes down from the second level. Then you could actually double back and start going back up. Just depends on which way you're leading and which way you're heading. So this corner over here, we're going to basically make that like a tunnel and bridge portals, or tunnel portal, and a mountain area. This one coming up and the one going underneath. So there'll be a tunnel portal right there. And then the back corner will just be filled. All this will be filled in with mountain, basically roads. I'm going to try to make this like a brick wall, rock wall, kind of hide that a little bit. I got a little bit of room, but it gets really narrow. Right around there gets narrow. So we'll see. But I figured all this might be mostly covered. Maybe a double opening right here. And then it opens up to trees and bushes and lands. And then it's going to go back into a tunnel again right here. And then that will be, all that up there will be kind of hidden. I'm going to hide that in there, kind of blend it in. That runs in behind the building over here. That might disappear into a tunnel or something. Like it's a sheer rock wall. It won't be prototypical, but it'll be kind of hiding it. Those I got from work, they didn't want them. They were in the one production manager's office, but it's like, I ain't passing those up. Nice trucks. All right. So then from there, this passes around, and this is where you decide what you're going to do. You're going to go into two different sets of the area. So if you came in where these Sioux engines are, and you bring in your loads, you can come into the main line right about here. Get my hand. There we go. And you can back into the secondary. And inside over here, we have basically a wood lumber transload area. And then on this side of it, it comes around to an overhead crane that, carries light loads, coils, coil wire baling, pipe loads, anything manageable for a small overhead crane, and just a little facilities building on top of that. The steam engine, that's what is it, an 080? That's an 080. That's Adam. Tyler's got a couple steam engines, but this is the only one that really works the best. The other ones are some Bachmann Spectrums, and we're not going to keep too many of those. That might end up just being like a display engine, kind of thing. But it got sound and everything. It's a nice engine. And then from the third track on the back, you can come in and shunt in one or two cars into the lumber yard again. So it's kind of a double lumber yard right in here. All right, and then when we spin around and we're looking this way, as we come in back around to the west end side, so then basically one part of it is a small fuel oil transfer area with some small tanks that I made. Those were all kit bashed out of a couple different kits. I think they turned out really nice actually, just for doing some kit bashing. I have two more of these uh, older style oil platform. Uh, what do you call them? Oil platform transfers. You know what I'm talking about. So I got two more to make because that was two, and I got to put the other two and put them right about here to give me a double amount of oil transfers. I really like these guys though. They actually you can actually move the arms out and that stuff. They look pretty cool. But yeah, stop banging them around. Um, there's a large warehouse building, which is really not in the right spot. And I don't like it there. Because it's kind of in the way with the tank cars, and you can only get about two box cars down here. But it's an idea, right? It's not right for the size of the building. You should have a whole bunch of cars coming off of both sides. I think it's a double-sided building, and it is. So it really would be better to have a double service, but it's only really being served from one. On the backside over here by the grain facilities, there's 3008 starting up. Yeah, doing his thing. On the grain facility side, again, that was a Medusa cement, I think. Or no, just the grain silos. No, this was Medusa cement. And I basically took the silos that were fours and cut them in half and stretched them out to make this wall. I have lots of extras. I might make this a bigger one and go a little bit further. It just depends. Up at the CN Silver Creek, we're also making some extra um, grain silos for one of the piers, and so they're looking at what they really need. So I have lots of extra ones. I just got to decide what they're going to need, and after that, I'll use what I want. So yeah, the grain silos is basically a pass through, which kind of works. There's two spare tracks for set offs, and then there's a full run through. So that run through, you can see, goes that way, goes east and west, and then comes all the way through, kind of like a double one, but it comes through and comes out on the back end where the trains come down with the off of the upper level. But this is just a runaround and a transit to move transfer cars around. So it works really good. I like the setup of this right here. And behind that is just basically a truck transfer area. First couple of the trucks that we got here, just sitting around. I made the little shed drive in. You can drive some trucks right inside that. So, and there's the future Smoking the Bandit. I want to make one for my own layout. I just need a bunk for him, and then I'll get him all painted up and do what I want to do. But then when you're coming down, the last thing you're going to be coming down into is the last just uh, a classification yard or storage yard, and that's where that breaks up and puts all of these guys right inside here. On this end, right here in this hollow right here, we really played about the fact about making the oil facility much larger, and maybe this being actually the oil facility. Hmm. That being said, that I might even consider that and get a whole bunch of larger bins, place them right in here. I don't know. Think about it. But yeah, so that's the bottom layer right here as it stands. I think it's pretty good. It's set up. It's got a few customers and a few different things to do.
We'll leave it there for now and we'll come back to layout tour part number 3.